Hi, this is Gabe from FluentForever.com. I wanted to make a short video today for people who are new to Fluent Forever and want to know what the differences are between Fluent Forever and everything else out there. Duolingo, Rosetta, Babbel. Nowadays, there are a lot of language learning apps and tools out there, and so it can definitely become kind of overwhelming if you're just starting out. So let me give you a short overview about what makes Fluent Forever different. The long version is, well, long. There's literally a book on the topic. You can go get it on Amazon. People seem to like it a lot. Or there are medium-length explanations. There's a 30-minute video on Memrise. There's an 18-minute TED Talk-like thingy. But I'm going to try and cover the basics in a few minutes. The Fluent Forever method is based on research about how we store information. It's different from other methods in two central ways. It changes what you're learning every day and how you're learning that information. So first, let's talk about what you're learning, since this is often what trips people up when they try to learn new languages. In Fluent Forever, you start by learning pronunciation first, because if you can train your ears to hear your new language's sounds, you're going to have an easier time remembering words and grammar. It's hard to remember foreign-sounding words and names, but when they don't sound foreign anymore, they stick. We spent the last 4 years creating trainers to make this step really straightforward, and they work really well in just a couple of weeks. But that brings us to our next step. The rest of your new language, you're going to learn that without translations, which is to say that if you're learning Spanish, then everything you look at on a daily basis and review is a combination of Spanish and pictures, no English. By doing this, you're building fluency rather than translation skills. Practically, that means you're going to progress a lot faster and retain information a lot longer. So that's what you're learning. Now let's talk about how. In Fluent Forever, you're going to use a spaced repetition system. These are basically fancy flashcards that know when you're going to forget some information and try to test you right beforehand, so that each flashcard comes at the optimal moment to push information into your long-term memory. Now, flashcard tools are great for reviewing information, but not great for learning that information in the first place. You may have had experience with this in your own schooling. Perhaps you grabbed a friend's flashcard deck or study guide before a test. You played around with it, and then you still did poorly on your test. Or perhaps you had the opposite experience. You made a flashcard deck or a detailed study guide before your test, and then you found that the process of making those tools was so memorable that you didn't even need to look at them before your test, and you still did well. Both of these experiences point to the same thing: the process of looking at information and then making choices about how to store that information. What text you want to include in your flashcards, what pictures you want to use, where on your study guide you want to put a particular piece of information. This process of making choices is one of the most powerful learning experiences you can create. And so in Fluent Forever, you're not just using some pre-made flashcards with some pictures on them. You're creating your own learning tools, because that creation process is so important. In the past, this creation process has been a combination of useful time, making choices about your learning, and then necessary busy work, getting those choices into your flashcards. And even with that busy work, Fluent Forever has been a tremendously effective and fast system. There are now thousands of people who have used it in the last few years and can now speak new languages. But this year is special. I'm designing an app to get rid of the busy work, so that all of your time can be spent making choices about your learning, and all of that busy work is handled automatically. I think this is going to be a game-changing tool. The first app that doesn't just teach you some vocabulary or translation skills or phrases in a phrase book, but rather an app that can take you all the way from nothing to fluency. There's nothing currently out there that can do this. And so I'm hoping to change that. Thanks for giving me your time, and if you want to learn more, visit fluentforever.com.